Jada back for another goddamn fucking interview. And today we got goddamn Martin from Pungent Stench all the way from fucking Austria. How often do you think goddamn Arnold's listening to Pungent Stench?
I don't think so. I think he's too much pussified from Hollywood.
Pussified from Hollywood?
Yeah. I don't think he's listened to this type of stuff.
So the stench is too tough for him?
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah.
I probably think we are too tough for him, yeah.
Well, speaking of pussy boys, how do you say his name? The other bass player, Jacek?
Jacek?
Jacek? Is that how you pronounce it?
Jacek, yeah, it's a Polish name.
Yeah, he just too pussy to come on camera.
And he's not even pussy. I think he's just like, he's doing the least necessary, you know. So he's always like, I don't speak English so very good, or I'm too, I don't have anything to say. He just doesn't want to do it, you know.
Yeah, he looked like a straight up hippie. Does he go on stage like that?
Like a hippie, you think?
Kind of.
Looks like a senior citizen to me.
Well, so he doesn't throw on a band shirt or a black shirt, nothing to get on stage. He's gonna go on like that for real?
Yeah. Usually he does.
Oh, man, letting me down. So speaking of the band, all the way from Austria, you know, the two most notable bands that I could think of, unless you can correct me, you know, at least in extreme music, was you guys and Disastrous Murmur. And you guys kind of had a similar sound to each other. You think that's by coincidence, or is it kind of like the Swedish thing, Australian thing, to where bands have similar, Brazilian thing, where bands have similar, like, because you guys had a unique sound, but the only other band, especially around the time, that I could compare it to was Disastrous Murmur. You guys local homies.
I couldn't tell him. I mean, maybe there is probably there is something in the you know, in the whole let's say way of life, anything that will probably influence you, maybe upbringing, music, I don't know, but I think most other bands don't sound like us in Austria.
No.
I mean, like this harmonic orchestra, they sound completely different.
No, yeah, they definitely do. Yeah.
Murmur was a bit in our vein. I'm not sure why that is though.
Did you know those guys at all?
Yes.
You're friends with them?
Yeah. They're not really active these days, I think, but I've known them for a long time because the original guitarist and singer, he was in this harmonic orchestra, and he left the band early on and formed Disastrous Murmur. But he's not in the band anymore either. So I think the only original member is the drummer.
Okay, see, I didn't even know if they're going to put anything out at all anymore. They're kind of like you guys, where they're around and they broke up, came back, or at least paused. I mean,
yeah, they got their lives, you know. I mean, they never made it that big, so it wasn't really a matter of you know, job or career. So they're kind of like doing this like as a hobby nowadays. I think.
As besides being friends with them or knowing them, did you like albums like the Rhapsodies in Red? Did you like that stuff as a fan, or?
Oh, I liked it. Yeah.
Okay.
I liked it. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. You guys from officially started. You were initially called Carnage.
No, that was a different band actually. Carnage was a band when I met Alex in I think in '85 or '86 or something like that. I had a band and he had a band. His band was named Carnage, and we shared the rehearsal space, and I helped him out on guitar. So I was the second guitar player until the original guitar player didn't even bother going to shows and playing shows. I mean, he was older than us, so I became the live guitarist. But the band broke up because, you know, some one guy was going to the army, the other one they didn't have any interest continuing, and same with my band at the time. And so it was both of us left. And in '87 we said, well, let's do something together then. We'll get a bass player, and that was the beginning of Pungent Stench.
So you were doing the Carnage stuff too, or?
I didn't write or anything, or they did have one recording, which was a demo, which didn't work out very well. The production was horrible, so I was only a live guitarist for them.
Okay. You guys are also known, at least in my opinion, like your lyrics were kind of unique. They were like gross and just nasty. It wasn't the typical, like, you know, Cannibal Corpse, just cut them up, and it wasn't the satanic stuff. It just had just a raunchy lyrics. Now, it probably says in the liner notes, but I didn't check it. Read them as who primarily wrote the goddamn lyrics?
Alex and I shared it. You know, we usually said like, okay, but it's 10 songs. You do 5, I do 5. You know, so
like who wrote the lyrics? Like Small Lunch.
That was mine.
Yeah, like what was the thought process behind that?
Yeah,
It's kind of gross.
Yeah, it is kind of gross. I don't know, man. It's maybe a bit of the mentality that, especially back in the day, Viennese people were had the reputation of being a bit morbid and grumpy, a bit dark or whatever. But also with a sense of humor. It was always important for us to I was I didn't we don't take ourselves too seriously with and it was also a bit to be a bit separated from all these bands that were all serious, especially the satanic bands. There was no fun in that. Cannibal Corpse were, I say, like comical. The lyrics were not as humorous maybe, but they were a comical band in all their appearance and everything, very over the top. Kind of like a 80s splatter movie or something like this.
Mhm.
And we did for a while. We did also this of course this more gory type of stuff, but then it got old, and especially when all this death metal thing blow up, in the early 90s, and there was a million bands and everybody did it, so we were kind of over it already, and we started looking for different topics, and we basically just did whatever we felt was appropriate, and then tried to put it in our style.
Now, when that stuff was coming out and you were there, I mean, you're one of the older devils. Is when stuff like Cannibal Corpse was putting out their debut record, did you like that stuff, or
I to be honest, when Cannibal Corpse put out their record, and I was working at the record store as well at this time, and not full time, but we could work there when we're not playing, so taking off all the time with unpaid leave and stuff. So we there was also fan scenes and all stuff, and then you get like Cannibal Corpse. Okay, this is the most extreme thing ever, and we were kind of like expecting something else. So I was just eaten back to life.
yeah,
I was a bit underwhelmed, not because it was terrible, but it was not it was not as heavy as I would have expected. Like the second album was a lot more death metal. The first was a bit too much thrash metal.
it did have thrash elements.
It is a good album, but the expectations were very high, and they didn't meet.
Were they met then on the second and third, Butcher to Birth to the Mutilated? Because those are definitely.
Oh yes. I have especially personally. I was never so much into this, what do you call, the brutal death metal type of thing. I am more influenced by a lot of punkish, hardcore-ish bands that also, like Celtic Frost, that there was a punk edge in it, or Venom was a very big influence, and Repulsion, and these bands, Slaughter from Canada as well. So I like the minimalistic type of stuff, just trying to take out all this geekiness that metal was already becoming. When bands, especially in the speed and thrash metal, it was becoming a bit too clean and too geeky in a way. I liked when Repulsion, this type of bands came, that was the attitude of punk played with the sound of metal, and that was more what I was listening to. So
now, something like Merciful Fate, was that too non-simplistic for you? Did you like that?
I do. The thing is, I'm not against progressive music at all. I'm a huge progressive rock fan, for example. But with this type of sound, I really liked taking out all this Metallica and all this Bay Area stuff, and just write a song that has 3 notes, and make it work with just the sheer massiveness of the sound, not so much the show off.
So something like Kill 'Em All, when it came out, I mean, you were old enough to have been there and picked it up. You didn't like it then?
I liked it all right, but I much preferred Venom.
Okay.
And Hellhammer and Celtic Frost. This was more my school days, I guess.
Are you familiar with the band Deceased?
Deceased, yeah.
Yeah, 'cause King Folly, he's your age, maybe slightly older. He hates everything about Metallica. That band always sucked.
Yeah, I you know, when people like me, do you like Metallica? Because no, not really. You know, these days a bit. Sometimes a hero can appreciate it a bit more, especially the older stuff. Maybe it's because I'm also very underwhelmed with more modern stuff, and I love this production and everything from the 80s. But I was never really into Metallica either. And when people said not even the old ones, I said, nah, not even old ones. You know? I mean, the newer stuff I don't care at all. But,
Of course.
I was you know, my favorite bands were Venom, and I did like the only Californian thrash metal band I did like was Exodus. I loved Bounded by Blood.
Yeah, sure.
But I preferred the New York stuff. You know, I liked Whiplash much better, and I liked Nuclear Assault. You know, this type of stuff that also had a bit of a punk edge.
Shit, you and King Folly, you guys be buddies.
Oh yeah.
He likes saying a lot of the same shit you're saying.
Yeah. I guess it's just two different type of schools. You know.
Yeah. The cover art for God Your Soul, the original LP cover, I think is awesome. And then I think it was the first reissue on Nuclear Blast CD. It's got a completely different cover with the guys with the masks. What was the reasoning behind that?
Nuclear Blast. I think it was the when they got their deal with Relapse and had the stuff printed in America. Before that, I think it was just import. And they were, you know, we were constantly fighting Nuclear Blast Records with our lyrics, and at that time it was very extreme, you know, and there was like your lyrics. Do we really have to print them? We go, of course, man. This is sure. I mean, we write them and let's print them. And you know, your logo, you cannot read your logo. You know, I mean, they should have seen what was following up 20 years later or something.
Yeah.
So they asked us, can we use a different cover for America because we will get in trouble, you know? And we said, oh, whatever, you know. We also did a remix because they wanted to make it, I guess, mostly wanted to have two versions to sell everywhere.
Yeah, sure.
You know?
Yeah.
But they said for the American market, let's do a remix, and we had to re-record two songs that were lost because back then on tape, you know, sometimes they reuse a tape, and apparently that happened with these two songs, I think. And there was a remix and there's some re-recorded stuff and a different cover for the American market. And the cover was taken made by a guy called Stefan Weber. He did also the cover for Dirty Rhymes, and what was the Club Mondo Bizarre cover was also pictures. He's a teacher. He was an art teacher, and the singer of a legendary band, Austrian band called Tradival. They started in the late, I think around in the 70s. They were a bit of a kind of like protest act. You know, they played the music was a bit crowd rock and a bit of, you know, Falco, right? The Commissar.
What is it?
Falco.
Falco.
I don't think it was in the 80s. He had this song, the Commissar or Amadeus. I think he was one of the biggest pop stars in Austria at the time, and he even had I think he even had a #1 hit in the States, and he was the bass player for this band back then. And
okay.
So they had a lot of show, you know, like all kinds of naked people, and it was a very famous Viennese-based band, and he was the singer, and he also sang on the Dirty Rhymes album where we did the cover of the Mentors. So I share lyrics with him.
Okay. I know slightly, or at least I've heard details about the Ben Caught Buttering cover, which I think that cover just looks nasty and raunchy. But to date, even if I ever wear that shirt, you know, just a random person will be like, what is that or whatever, and you know, it looks cool. From what I understand, it's the head cut and split. Yeah. But like an inside story, Jim Sadis from band Nunslaughter, rest in peace. Mm-hmm. You know, he was a good friend of mine. You know, we bust each other's balls and stuff like that. I forget what he was wearing or something. Let's bust his balls. I'm like, oh man, dude, that record's totally gay. It's like, and I got the Pungent Stench shirt. Yeah. I was like, what are you talking about? That's coming from a guy that's got a shirt with two guys smooching on the cover.
Yeah, but you know, the thing is that I kind of liked it because, of course, there was a gay undertone underneath, and also the title I extra picked it to make it sound a little bit more gay, you know. And there was always people asking me, is there a gay message? And oh, if you understand there's a gay message, maybe there is. I don't know. So it was mostly, you know, we enjoyed like not taking the piss out of the parents. I mean, that is easy, you know.
Now, what exactly the photo? Isn't like a real photo. Like, what does it exactly come from? Did it come from an autopsy, the photo, or it's from a museum?
I think the way that they did it was probably yeah, for you know, like for study purposes, you know, so students could look at the a cup head from, and then I think he did borrow stuff, you know, maybe he did it even in Mexico or something like this. So he borrowed stuff from hospitals or medical schools, and I think the how this came to play, he had this head and he didn't really know what's coming, and by accident apparently he saw it the half line like this, and then he figured.
So it's just the other side of the face is what it is.
Yeah, it's like when if you have the head like this, then
you split. Yeah,
split like
this.
Because
for years I didn't know that. I was like, I thought it was two heads.
People always say like, oh, this is two kissing heads. It's actually one. It makes it even better.
Now on that album, you definitely started to progress on that, and I do like that record quite a bit. But it was a little bit of a change from the first record and the demos and the EPs. But after that, the Clamando, which I haven't heard that album in like 20 years, but I remember not being a fan. I remember you guys really kind of changing on that record.
Yeah, we did. Yes.
Now, what was the reason for that? Like, why each record you're progressing? Because even after that, the Masters of Morals.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like all drastically different. Was that super intentional? Or you just guys were bored of playing the same stuff? Or?
Okay. I'm easily bored with doing the same thing. I'm admiring bands that can stick to their guns for such a long time, like Cannibal Corpse or AC/DC. You know, these bands just they got their thing, and they do it over and over. And I think I couldn't do that. I'm too bored doing the same thing, and then you always like pressed to top it by doing the same thing. You know, this is not what we do. You know, and we did always have influences when at a certain time. When we did a record, you know, you listen to this or that, some stuff from the 60s maybe, or 80s, and it comes in, you know, it was naturally, we just met up in the rehearsal room. It's rarely that I had some riffs prepared, so we just jammed and had it happen, you know, so it was no thought process, anything behind this.
Now, like on this tour then, are you guys just playing like the first couple albums and EPs, or are you playing stuff from all the albums?
No, only the original lineup.
Now, so with that, is there anything from Clamando being played tonight?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So the first three,
yeah, till the period from when we started '88 till end of early '95 when we broke up. When our bass player Jacek, who's back in the band now, was still in the band. You know.
Yeah.
So the first three, the original lineup, all this period, like 3 albums, full albums. The EP and the split album and that 7-inch
the Extreme Deformity.
Yeah. That's we play from that stuff. Yeah.
Now, maybe you can say or can't say, or maybe it's been said. I don't really know. I just know there was a falling out. You guys are like, well, maybe you guys were back and forth for a while. I mean, you were gone, then you came back, and you left again, then came back. Like, what was all? And obviously, so you're with Jacek, but then no Alex. Like, why did you guys keep breaking up and getting back together? And now there's a problem with Alex. Like, again, I don't know what you can't say, so just say whatever you can.
No,
want to. What's the deal?
Yeah, well, you know, you fall. it's you start as kids, you know, playing a band, and it becomes a job, and there's money involved and everything, and then people change. You know, you sometimes it's not compatible anymore, and we tried twice, and we're just clashing, you know, and I have nothing bad to say about him, and you know, and then we are now on you know, professional terms, you know. It's just we're not friends anymore, you know.
So you guys don't talk at all?
No, not at all. I mean, we do talk when there's some business stuff to be dealt with, you know, like reissues and this type of stuff. But other than that, everybody lives his life, you know.
Now, does he care that you're doing what you're doing, the side project?
I don't know. Maybe not anymore. I don't know. guess in the beginning he did not like it, I'm sure, but
Yeah. Probably just doesn't care
but
now.
he's free to do the same thing.
Yeah. Now, yeah, Yacic. Am I pronouncing his name right?
Yacic.
Yacic. Yes. Goddamn tongue twister.
Yeah.
How did you get him to kind of come back? Because I mean, yeah, like you said, he looked like he fucking crawled out of a goddamn retirement home.
Yeah. Well, we lost touch and for many years, and he had his own demons to fight, and I'm not gonna talk about that here. It's and then we got back in touch, and he stopped by when I had a recording studio and a little recording studio, so he would come by, and then we'd talk, and 2 years ago when I changed lineup because our drummer left and our bass player he had an injury when he was working, and he wasn't really capable of, he was like something in his neck, and so he couldn't travel at all. And I needed a new bass player, and then Yacic came and said like, hey Martin, you can you take me to a show one day? And they said like, I can take you to all the shows, but you got to play. And it was like, okay. And I pressured him kind of like, in the first couple of shows he was like, that's nothing for me, that's not for me. Now he likes it.
Yeah, okay. There's some bootleg recordings out there, and there's a vinyl, and on it is I don't think you guys ever recorded it live. At least not that I've heard. You guys covered Guns N' Roses, Paradise City.
Yeah, we did.
What was?
Whose
idea was that?
Oh, we did a lot. The thing is, we had in the early '90s, a friend of ours asked us in the place where we rehearsed. This is a concert venue, and he said he wanted to do like a little compilation album of Austrian punk bands, and just also have a concert. And then we said like, yeah, we cannot participate because we're signed, But what we can do is we just play cover versions, because we always liked doing this. So we called ourselves Los Tres Hombres, like the album from ZZ Top, because we did a lot of ZZ Top covers, and this kind of took off a bit because it was fun, when we played covers from started mostly rock, but then later on we did all kinds of pop music, anything, disco, a lot of disco stuff, and we started doing this with Pungent Stench shows too. We for a while we did Paradise City. I remember that was when we toured the United States first in '92. I think it was when we did Paradise City.
How the crowd react?
They liked it, man.
Oh, okay.
They were a bit of like, disbelief first, and then they got into it. I mean, it was in our own version, of course.
Yeah.
But we did start with shouting out loud at concerts. Kiss cover. That's how we started.
Okay.
Sometimes when we were very bold, we did a medley of the band Hot Chocolate. Remember this? Everyone's a winner, and Emma. We just did it, And people kind of there was always like one guy maybe to come up with running all the way from the back of the venue just to give it a finger. But most of the times people thought it was fun. I mean, it was bonus anyway. No, we didn't cut the set short because we just wanted people to lighten up a bit, And I think people that liked us, they had a sense of humor. They knew what was going on. It was not to make fun of them or anything. It's only rock and roll.
Yeah. Now, when you're coming up and you're doing all this stuff, the demos, EPs, first couple albums. I mean, you're very young. You're like 18 to your early 20s, which you're kind of saying, it's fun back there. But like now, you're well in your 50s. I mean, I'm kind of surprised you kind of have a passion to like get on the road, come over here, and like the road life again. Like you still have a desire to do that? Like,
well, the passion of the road life is not here anymore, I have to say. If I'm honest, I'd rather be home,
Yeah. So what's your incentive to do this then?
Well, this is what I'm doing, I mean, if you do this for such a long time, you have to make a decision at one point, We did Job when everything was not running good, so you don't have a career, you don't have a real career. I focused my life on music, so everything I did, I collected musical gear to set up my recording studio, and I did the bands, several bands, and this is what I'm doing, you know. And now I'm stuck with it,
Mm.
and I'm still enjoying doing it, but the tour life and the party thing, this is long gone.
Yeah. Yeah. So like, but I mean, driving state to state, you're probably thinking, oh, this kind of sucks.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, come on. I mean, I'm turning 56 in December, and I mean, there you see the end of the tunnel. You know, all of a sudden, you know, you're not immortal anymore, like when you're in your 20s, and then you kind of like. I'm so wasting so much time sitting on, on a plane or in the car or waiting for the show. You know, this time gets very, very
You
precious.
don't want to be sleeping in a van anymore.
Oh, well, luckily we don't have to do that, you know. So we stay in
Hotels.
in hotels or Airbnb. So
But still, you would waste a lot of time in the airport.
yeah, it's just you know, as I said, like people when people ask me about music, a musician, oh, it's awesome. It's like it isn't. Most of the time it's waiting and traveling, you know. And it's very boring, you know. I mean, you can make spice it up if you go nuts and do drugs and then do all this stuff. But if you don't do this, it's very boring, you know.
You insinuated downstairs that you're not a big fan of social media,
Oh no, at all.
and so you've seen it all because you grew up the tape trading days, and you've seen the whole scene grow from its infancy
Yeah.
to what it is today. What are the major differences today between social media, just how music's absorbed today, how kids are at the shows, how they digest it, how they're into it, the passion for it? I guess what would you compare the differences, and what don't you like?
Well, I cannot really say so much about our shows because there's not so much kids at our shows, you know.
No?
They're mostly it's people in my age, you know, that come and want to see the stuff they grew up with. I mean, there's some kids and some bring their own kids and stuff.
Yeah.
But the main difference, of course, is like you don't have physical albums and you don't have to pay for it, you know. So it's less worth, you know. If you don't pay for it, it's
There's
worth
no
nothing,
value.
you know?
Yeah.
Has no value, you know. And so people just to consume music the same way, you know. It's just like they do TikTok and whatever. It's just next. And also, what I don't understand at all is like that it has shifted like to this, you know, the musicians play in a band, but the band has, I don't know, 10,000 followers. The guy has 1 million followers when
Yeah.
he sits at home and just play covers of other bands or I don't know, talk about distortion pedals or whatever, you know. So it's a very different type of consuming music than I grew up with, you know. My thing was always like a live show and playing together with friends and when he bought an album, you know, I remember when I was a kid, I mean, could like afford an album a month or something like this. Yeah? So you go there and you just really,
Shows
this
one.
or this. I have money for one album. And then you go home in the bus and you have the album. It's big, and you just already open it and looking at pictures and reading the lyrics. So everything was very, very, very valuable. And then you listen to it, and they may be not as good as you hoped for, but you get into it, you know. You just learn to like it.
You're like, I bought it. I gotta like it.
Yeah. So this is all gone, you know.
Yeah.
This is a
They
very
just click on
different-
YouTube, and they go to the next one.
But it's the way the whole world is, you know. You throw everything away, you know. It works. Nothing gets repaired or spend a lot of time with. You know?
Yeah. Is there any buddy in particular, like any bands or anything that just completely annoy the hell out of you? That you see and you're just like, I don't get it. This is stupid.
Well, there's a lot of stuff that I'm not getting, but just because I don't get it, that doesn't really annoy me. I mean, it would annoy me if I had to listen to it, you know. And I mean, there's some of this new stuff, you know, all this you know, guys that I know, they're just playing Xbox all day and then have their 8-string guitars and do their whole, you know, sports kind of thing, you know. I don't get that, and you know, I'm mostly when music annoys me, I don't have to listen to it. I do have a couple of people that annoy me, you know, so people like Dave Grohl, you know, because he's everywhere, you know, he's so many person. You can't even because I don't have to listen to his stupid Foo Fighters. That I don't mind, but you know, you watch a documentary, go like, oh, this is about, I don't know, X Y band, and you love it, and then it's fucking Dave Grohl again, you know, with his smile and being obnoxious. Get the fuck out, man. You know, you don't have to be everywhere and explaining this band. You know, just you know, this is annoying me. But that's the only thing actually.
Okay, well, I'm sure there's other if you dug deep enough.
Oh, there's more people like this. I'm annoyed by this. There's a couple of guys, you know, they have an opinion on everything. You know.
Yeah.
And I was, you know, what I was very annoyed by was when Philip and Selmo did this white
annoying?
power thing. No, he's not annoying.
Oh, he's not. I thought he was.
I don't know. I've never talked to him, you know. But then what I was thinking was annoying was when he was drunk and did this white power thing, and everybody was like, oh my god, and I was like, oh yeah, oh my god, man, a drunk guy did something stupid, yeah. And then you had all these guys, you know, his supposed friends, you know, like what was this insufferable guy, Rob Flynn from Machine Head, you know, it's like posting videos of themselves. Oh, come on, man, come on. I mean, just you know better that you're better than that. And then I think he even did a song, an anti-racist song, and I was like, fuck off, please, fuck off. This guy was drunk.
Yeah.
Give him a fucking break. I mean, nothing happened. Didn't start World War IV or anything. and then made such a big deal out of it. And there was and musicians that were supposedly his friends, you know.
Yeah.
Why do you have to put the attention to yourself to show off what a virtuous motherfucker you are? You
Because
know.
they want the clips.
Of course they want that. That annoys me. You know, this virtue signaling that makes me mad.
Well, like I said earlier too, how each album is so different in your catalog. Which one do you personally like the most? And which one do you like the most, and which one do you like the least?
I like them probably the most were the first two albums, like For Quite the Soul and Pinko Buttering, because I think it was our prime. We were at our best. We were at our most enthusiastic, and you can tell, you know, it's mostly any bands that do this. It's like the first 2-3 albums are the best, you know.
Yeah.
And the one who like at least
How
is
old
for.
were you at the beginning?
We started '88. I was born '68, so I was nearly 20 years old, 19, 20 when we started out. And the least favorite one must be the Smut Kingdom, because it was the album that was, you know, where we broke up right when in the middle of mixing, and the album took, I don't know, I think another 11 years before it got out. And then
that long?
Yeah, because we were not talking, and there was also this whole thing about the name, and so it took a while, and then I had to start working at it again, you know, mixing and stuff like that. I didn't feel the album anymore, you know. When it was done, it was recorded way long ago, you know. It was in a different place, you know. So it has a lot of stigma to it, you know. Musically, I wouldn't know, you know, but as I said, the best things were the first 7 years when we were original lineup.
Now, how much longer do you think you're gonna keep this gig going? Then I mean, you're getting up there.
I'm afraid I have to do this for a while. You know?
You'd be doing it till like Lemmy, till you're 70 and you die.
No, because you know the thing is with. I really want to enjoy a bit of my retirement too. You know, I don't want to.
Are you retired now, like from work?
No. I'm not yet. But I don't want to die. You know, on the road. This is not the plan. You know, I have a house in the countryside that I want to be enjoying to old people stuff there. You know.
Yeah.
And I don't know. The thing is with, you know, Lemmy. He has a crew. He has everything. You know,
he doesn't got to do shit. He's got to get there and sing.
Yeah, exactly. I'm totally DIY. You know, when we drive, when we go to show, it's my truck. I drive. My wife is with me. She's also a little bit sharing driving to this, but she sells my shirts.
Does your wife come here?
No, not this.
Just
but she comes along often, but not on this tour. And. So and the two musicians. So I'm driving there for 10 hours and setting up, and then playing and driving back home. So this is very exhausting, and I don't think I would want to do this until I'm 70. But you never know. You know.
Well, it's funny you say that because you're saying pretty much because I've talked about on the channel about extreme metal bands, but I use bigger bands like Cannibal Corpse, Deicide. I say, how long realistically do you think these guys are going to do it? I said on the channel. People are like, well, Lemmy did it till he was 70. I'm like, dude, that does not even count. I was like, first of all, that's not really extreme music. Second of all, Lemmy just got to get on a nice, big, cushy, fucking goddamn bus that has an entire size bed. He probably has 2 strippers hired just to fucking entertain, just to entertain his ass. He's got to, after he's done getting his blow jobs and doing his blow, he just got to get on fucking stage and sing.
Yeah,
that don't fucking count. I could do that till I'm 70. Sign me
up.
up.
Yeah, he's not carrying his amps.
Yeah,
and also,
he's definitely not carrying his amps.
And also,
let me grab the back of that amp. Yeah. That's not happening.
And also, he didn't do it till he was 70. In his mid 60s, the decline started. I mean, the last couple of years, the shows were horrible.
Oh, you were there?
No, I saw some stuff, and I mean, sometimes he had to stop. He was weak, you know. Yeah. He fell apart, you know, yeah. Yeah, as you said, I mean, the Stones are touring, you know, they're all 80, but he's not sitting in a fucking bus and driving, so he's coming there, and then they put this guitar in his arthritis fingers, you know, and they have a guy behind the amps that plays along, and still, yeah, then I would be possibly doing this, but I don't have.
Is Ozzy still technically touring? I mean, he does a show here and there, but he's not touring, is he? Ozzy Osbourne?
I think he's retired. I think his physical health is he's not allowing him to do this.
But I mean, he was kind of going longer than I thought he would too.
Oh, he was going decades longer than he would do.
Yeah, I wake up every morning. I'm like, oh shit, Ozzy's still alive. Can't fucking believe it. Been saying that for like the last 25 years. All right, Martin. Well, is there anything you want to shout out, say, or advertise? This is your 30 seconds or whatever. Could make it 60 if you want, whatever you got.
Oh, and I'm not going to do a shout out for the tour because don't air it.
Yeah, by the time it goes up, you'll be home.
No, anyway, I'm just thanks for having me here, and thank everybody on this tour kept coming out. You know, it's touching to be. It's a privilege to be here after 36 years and still have people remembering you and then coming out. You know, that's what I appreciate very much, and it's also. Meeting a lot of people that I met along the tours, you know, the people from Brutal Truth, and I met Ross from Exhumed yesterday. So it's a good thing, and I love the USA. Keep it good, you know, guys. Guess this is a.
After that, just let me rot, huh?
Yeah. So yeah.
All right, cool. Well, that's it for this one. Later, goddammit.